Coming up on After the Whistle, we take you into the best from District 6 basketball and wrestling.
Plus, one Penn State wrestling star continues his win streak.
And the Lady Lions host their annual Pink Zone game in support of breast cancer awareness. All that and more coming up on After the Whistle. Hello, and welcome to After the Whistle. I'm Seba Marenko.
And I'm Kiera Baker. Today we'll continue our coverage of the best action from boys and girls District 6 sports. Girls and boys basketball is in the midst of their season, and wrestling is heading to the playoffs.
To start things off, a clash of the Lower Highlands took place on Monday night as 9-8 Huntington Bearcats welcomed the 12-8 Bellwood Antis Blue Devils to town. We'll take you into the jungle and to the second quarter, where Lily Gewert loses the ball, but it's picked up and swung all the way around the arch until Chloe Hammond shoots an open three that she misses, but it's rebounded by Gewert, who splashed a mid-range jumper, an absolutely wild sequence there that began and ended with Gewert. Bellwood Antis is looking to build on its lead. Olivia Niccolo gets the ball and it's nothing but the net as the buzzer goes off to send us into halftime, with the Blue Devils up 31-15. With a 25-point lead, Leah Clapper clamps down on defense, picks up the loose ball, and smiles all the way to the net for 2 points. Bellwood Antis pouring it on in the fourth quarter. The Blue Devils take down the Bearcats by a final score of 55-30. Bellwood Antis moves 13-8 with a 10-6 conference record and will finish out the regular season against Phillipsburg Osceola on Thursday night. Meanwhile, Huntington falls to 9-9 on the year as it's lost 4 of the last 5 games and looks to get back on track against Penns Valley on Thursday.
The Hollidaysburg Golden Tigers travel to the Lions Den to take on Altoona Tuesday. Going in, both teams had 16 wins on the season. Let's take you to the second half as Altoona and Hollidaysburg is tied 21-21. Hollidaysburg go on an early lead as McKenna Weimert shoots and sinks a three and then continues assist to Claire Padamonski with her layup, making it 26-21 Hollidaysburg. But Altoona would not let that happen as they closed the point gap even closer to 28-27. The Lady Lions would even take the game with Jaden Cruel's layup, making it 34-33. Altoona will secure their win with one last layup and foul shot by Lainey Wold. The Mountain Lions clawed their way to victory over the Tigers by a final score of 40-34. Altoona will take a win, making them 17-4 and 12-1 in the Mid-Penn Conference. Hollidaysburg would take their second loss of the season, making them 16-2 with a 14-0 in the Laurel Highlands Conference.
Now let's take things over to District 6 basketball, where State College hosted the Central Dauphin Rams last night. Start of the first quarter, and State High's Nate Price left open, and he hits three, giving the Little Lions an early 3-0 lead. A few possessions later, and it's Reed Melvin in the corner, switching the three to extend State High's lead to 6 points. Moving on to the third quarter, and it's Sean Wright with the steal and slams. Central Dolphins takes a 1-point lead. Nearing the end of the third quarter, Wayne Fletcher II goes coast to coast to get the buzzer beater bucket for Central Dauphin, giving a 34-33 lead heading into the fourth quarter. Start of the fourth quarter, Shakar Starlings drives inside and gets the layup through to contact and one as Central Dauphin gets the win in State College 50-41. With the win, Central Dauphin closes out their season at 16-6 for State College. They fall to 9-11 and will host McDowell on Saturday for their season finale.
Cassie Vaselis is at Penns Valley with both teams trying to improve before the playoffs begin. Cassie?
Thanks, Kira. The 16-4 Central Dragons are here to take on the Penns Valley Rams, who are 10-9. The Rams only have 2 more games left after this one, and they have won 8 out of their 10. However, they do face a bit of a challenge as they are facing the Dragons, who are looking for the lone spot in states to represent the District 6 in the 4A. But there are 5 other teams with the Rams in the Laurel Highlands that are fighting for the 3 spots left that are in the District 6 3A bracket. So this should be an interesting game. I'm here in Springs Mill. I'm Cassie Vaselis. Now back to you at the studio.
Coming up after the break, we'll show you highlights of both PIAA and Penn State wrestling.
Plus, we have a look ahead to Saturday's Penn State's men's basketball game and a flashback to the Lady Lions Pink Zone game.
But for now, here are some of the basketball scores from around the area. Welcome back to After the Whistle, brought to you by Com Radio, the Center County Report, and Penn State's chapter of Awesome.
On Saturday, Penn State hosted their annual Pink Zone game, and we'll have more on that later. But right now, let's check out our latest and greatest of high school wrestling in District 6. This past weekend, Bald Eagle hosted the PIAA Wrestling Tournament. Penns Valley, Bald Eagle, Huntington, Bishop McCourt traveled to duel out on the mat. Saturday's duel featured 59 total matches. This tournament was for the District 6 Championship and an opportunity to wrestle for a state title at the Giant Center in Hershey. Bishop McCourt started off the morning facing Huntington. Bishop McCourt's 133-pound Mason Gibson opened up the morning against Liam Simpson. Gibson, who committed to wrestle for Cale Sanderson, will stay in Pennsylvania to compete at Penn State. Gibson was able to pin Simpson for Bishop McCourt's fourth consecutive match win. Then it was Bishop McCourt's 160-pound Melvin Miller. Miller is one of the best wrestlers in District 6. He won his first match of the day against Huntington's Brady Clark by tech fall. The win extended Bishop McCourt's impressive morning to 45-0. They eventually went on to beat Huntington 54-18. The second match of the championship semifinal ended as Bald Eagle advanced, beating Penns Valley 43-18. For third place spot in the tournament, Huntington beat Penns Valley by a score of 35-33. Penns Valley would receive third place as Huntington moved on. For a true second, Huntington lost to Bald Eagle 30-37 as Bald Eagle advanced to the championship against Bishop McCourt. Bishop McCourt dominated in the championship as they took it with ease, beating Bald Eagle 58-15. Bishop McCourt became the Class AA District 6 team champions and finished the season undefeated. This, however, will not be the end of the road for Bald Eagle, as the team is headed into Hershey to be the PIAA State Wrestling Tournament, at first for the school since 2006.
Number 1, Penn State hosted number 7, Ohio State on Friday, with some history on the line. Rec Hall sold out well before this Big Ten matchup. Starting us off with the 141 class, number 2 ranked Bo Bartlett and number 7 Jesse Mendez tied 1-1 in sudden victory. Bartlett gets the takedown win by decision 4-1. Moving on to the 165 class, Penn State's Mitchell Messenbrink gets the takedown on Bryce Hepner. Messenbrink would win by decision. Nittany Lions lead to 16-3. The Buckeyes wouldn't roll away though. 184 class, Ryder Rogotsky pins Bernie Truax, bringing Ohio State to within 10 points, now 19-9. Now to the 197 in its number 1 ranked, Aaron Brooks lifting Ohio State's Luke Gogg over his shoulder and throwing him to the floor to win tech fall 22-5. The Nittany Lions took the win over Ohio State 28-9. Penn State remains undefeated this season, including being 5-0 in conference play. Carter Oxy's win took him to 61 straight victories, now the longest active win streak in the country.
Bishop McCourt wins the District 6 AA championship, and it looks to continue their team run heading into regionals.
Crusher Mason Gibson will continue his athletic career with top-ranked Penn State, and that's where we head as the Nittany Lions hosted, then 7th-ranked Ohio State. Bronwyn Leiber was there and joins us in the studio. Bronwyn?
Thank you, Kira. Penn State Wrestling is in search of a three-peat at the NCAA tournament this spring. Cale Sanderson's team is building off their victory this past weekend, as well as celebrating many historical milestones. Let's take a look. In one of their closest duels of the season, the Nittany Lions managed the 28-9 victory over the number 7 Ohio State Buckeyes, with controversial calls, huge upsets, and Coach Sanderson's 199th win. This is their 11th season in the last 14 years, starting off 8-0. And this can be credited to the coach's leadership, Carter Strachey's 61st straight victory, and 3 strong starting freshmen. This match also sets Sanderson up for his 200th win. Coach Cale Sanderson has the opportunity to achieve this milestone this Friday as the Nittany Lions head on the road to face number 2 Iowa at Iowa. This is where he got his 100th Big Ten dual victory as Penn State's head coach.
It just means I've been here a long time. My job is to take care of the kids in our program and help them be the best they can be, engaging and participating in all the other stuff.
History. Be part of history. You know what he's done here. It's historical culture, so I think. But even them, we doesn't pay attention to stuff. We just trust those coaches, and it comes along. So.
In his 14 seasons at Penn State, he has led them to 10 NCAA championships and 34 Nittany Lions to become national champions. This Friday will be their last in-conference duel on the road for the 2023-2024 season.
Yeah, I enjoy being on the road. I think it's fun to wrestle in other people's arenas, and I think our kids enjoy that. I think it's good for them to be on the road together and to spend time together.
Sanderson knows success on and off the mat, being the only wrestler in NCAA history to never lose a bout in all 4 years. The team will face Iowa this Friday at 9 p.m. and then have a quick turnaround back to State College for their one and only BJC duel against Rutgers. Both of these being top 15 conference matchups. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Bronwyn. Coming up after the break, we'll preview the Penn State men's basketball game against Iowa.
Plus, the BJC was decked out in pink last weekend. But for now, here's some scores from wrestling from around the area. After blowing a 16-point lead to Minnesota at home almost 2 weeks ago, Penn State men's basketball hit the road for a 2-game stretch versus Rutgers and Indiana. A gritty 61-46 win over the Scarlet Knights secured the Nittany Lions' first road win of the season 4 days later. The team left Bloomington with the 85-71 victory over the Hoosiers, their first win at Assembly Hall since 2014 now. The focus switches to defending home court. The team welcomes Iowa into the BJC on Saturday night with a tip-off at 7 p.m. The Nittany Lions currently hold an 11-11 record and sit at 10th in the Big Ten.
This past Saturday, the Penn State Lady Lions met the Michigan Wolverines at BJC for a battle between 2 Big Ten opponents. The 16-5 Lady Lions took on the 14-8 Wolverines in their 18th annual Pink Zone game. Early in the game, it was all Michigan after a couple threes by Lauren Hansen. Second quarter, Jaden Owen drives in for a layup. Her shot rebounds off a couple Wolverines and out to Leilani Capelas, who passes it out to Shea Chesky, who puts it up for the 3, tying the game at 23. Michigan took the lead going into the half, 35-31. In the third quarter, Michigan going on a tear. It's Jordan Hobbs from the arc. Michigan continuing to build distance. It's Hansen out to Layla Filia. Count it. Michigan up 56-45. Alyssa Brett goes on to score the Wolverines 4-3, but Penn State wouldn't go away quietly. It's Shesky showing some style with the behind-the-back layup, cutting into Michigan's lead 66-53. But it wouldn't be enough as Michigan put to a stop to Penn State's hot streak, winning the game 80-75. That game ended a 6-game win streak for the Lady Lions. They'll look to bounce back on Thursday on the road against number 2 Iowa and Caitlin Clark, who is 66 points away from all-time scoring record.
Once a year, the Penn State Lady Lions host their Pink Zone game in honor of breast cancer awareness. That game was this past Saturday as Penn State hosted Michigan Wolverines. Everyone including the Nittany line was sporting some pink. Penn State rocking their custom warm-up shirts, and even Michigan wore pink. I mean, look at those shoes. Where could I get a pair? During halftime, all breast cancer survivors walked onto the court to hold up their survivorship from breast cancer awareness. Even though the game didn't end in Penn State's favor, the message impacted everyone in the BJC. For one final note, today is National Girls and Women in Sports Day. Thank you for all those who work in the industry and for who are fans. We celebrate you today.
Thanks, Esteban. And that's going to do it for our coverage on this week's show. Tune in next week for more District 6 sports and Penn State athletics.
For updates about our show's time and coverage of games, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ATWPSU, and we'll see you next week here on After the Whistle.